Hello, my book has come down in price. If you, by chance, decided to take a look at The Wonder on Amazon and were like, well, that's too expensive. It was kind of high price, not crazy price, but a little bit high for a novel. Well, it's come down in price. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, that's mighty kind of you to lower the price. Well, Amazon has a lot more to do with setting the price than I do. If I wanted to have my book in international markets, I had to set the price high as it was, basically. I was basically making almost zero profit off of international markets. So I had to make some changes to it and re-upload it, and now it's not eligible for international markets. I don't know why, but whatever. So that being done, I lowered the price because there's no need to have it priced so high for an American audience if it doesn't have to be priced that high. So if you're thinking, hey, look, I want to get your book, but it's just the price is too high. I can't justify that expense. Well, the price has come down quite a bit. So go ahead and check that out. There's a link in the description. I want to get into this article. The New York Post says Norwegian actress Tonje Gjevjon, I'm probably pronouncing that totally wrong, faces up to 3 years in prison for saying men cannot be lesbians. How dare she? What is she thinking? Men, of course, can be whatever they want to be. Doesn't she know? Oh, no, wait. That's women that we're thinking about. Women can be anything that they want to be. Right? Okay. Well, thank you all for stopping by. I do appreciate everybody supporting my work that I do on this channel. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. Let's get into this article. So she is going to be imprisoned for 3 years for allegedly violating her country's hate speech laws. Saying men cannot be lesbians is now hate speech? How does that work? How does stating your simple opinion on something become hate speech? It's one thing if you're actually just like, hey, I don't like such and such race. I don't like such and such types of groups of people. Whatever. I get that. That could be considered hate speech. But she's just saying, look, men can't be lesbians. Okay. Dogs can't be cats. That's hate speech. Well, no, they can't actually be cats. Dogs and cats are two different things. Well, with genetic engineering. Okay, yes, okay. Maybe someday we could genetically engineer a cat from a dog. But we're not at a place where we can. By definition, it's like saying there's bachelors that are married. That's not probably. One of my students accused me of being a bachelor yesterday. I just like, I am? Yeah, you're a bachelor. Okay. All right, I guess I am. I didn't realize. I thought I'd been married for the last, how many years? 9 years? 8 years. But anyway, by definition, you can't be a male lesbian. That's just not how it works. So how is that hate speech? It doesn't make any sense. A woman in Norway is facing up to 3 years in prison on criminal hate speech charges after saying that a man cannot become a lesbian. I'm just going to call her Tonje. I don't know how to pronounce any of this because I do not speak Norwegian. But we'll call her Tonje moving forward. Okay. She's a lesbian filmmaker and actress. Was informed on November 17th that she was under investigation for speaking out against prominent Norwegian activist Christine. We're going to call her Christine on Facebook. Christine is a transgender female that often refers to herself as a lesbian mother. Oh, the plot thickens. So she didn't say that men cannot be lesbians. What she was saying is that this person who's pretending to be a woman cannot be a lesbian. Okay. Yeah, Christine previously accused another woman, Christine Ellingson, I think I can pronounce that, of transphobia for a similar claim. Oh, so she's a little hypocrite. Oh, what is this here? I wonder if this is hypocrisy, but we'll see. I don't think that it is. I don't know if it's going to go into all the details, but we'll find out. Ellingson is also under investigation and faces 3 years in jail if found guilty. Okay, then. This is just like round robin. But you said this, and you knew this is going to break down eventually, or at least start to, or at least in some cases. We've been seeing it break down. But you said this. Well, you said this. And it's just going back and forth, a tit for tat. The post on Tonje's Facebook page under investigation read, "It's just as impossible for men to become a lesbian as it is for men to become pregnant. Men are men regardless of their sexual fetishes." Right. So if I were to pretend to be the opposite sex or go to that place where I was trying to find my gender identity, I would still like women. I wouldn't stop liking women at all. That's just what I like. What can I say? Tonje has said that she intentionally posted her Facebook message to draw attention to Norway's hate speech laws. Oh, so she is like calling out the legal system in Norway. Tonje's comments appear to be under investigation for falling under the 2020 amendment to the country's penal code that added gender identity and gender expression under protected categories from hate speech. People found guilty of hate speech face a fine or up to 1 year in prison for private remarks and a maximum of 3 years for public comments. Wow. So if you're just talking to your neighbor, like you're sitting in your living room talking to your neighbor, and you say, I don't like them such and suches, you can go to prison for 1 year. That is pretty ridiculous. Women's rights activists, including the Women Declaration International Norway, of which Ellingsen is a representative, have claimed that the amendment undermined free speech and expression in the country. Yeah, anytime you want to curtail what people say, you're reducing freedom of speech. This is not the first time that Tonje has spoken out on controversial topics surrounding gender and women's rights. Last year, Tonje confronted Annette, Norway's Minister of Culture and Reality, claiming that misconstruing gender identity and bisexual sex has harmful and discriminatory implications for women, especially lesbians. Yeah, that's true. The thing is your biological sex and your gender are the same thing. This whole notion that, the gender is the identity you wear and biological sex is your biological sex. No, they're the same thing. There are men, there are women, there are trans people, and there are hermaphrodites. That's it. And a lot of hermaphrodites don't even know that they're hermaphroditic. And a lot of trans people are, I don't think I can say it because of YouTube, but, think about Halloween, and you'll get the idea. Will the equality minister take action to ensure that lesbian women's human rights are safeguarded by making it clear that there are no lesbians with wieners, that males cannot be lesbians regardless of their gender identity, and by tidying up the mess of the harmful gender politics left behind by the previous government? Tonje asked. Yeah, it's like there's no women with wieners. I mean, there's hermaphrodites with wieners, but there's no women with... Wow, so they also have this This Finnish member of parliament has also been charged with hate speech in her country, but was acquitted. Of all charges. I do not share an understanding of reality where the only two biological sexes are to be understood as sex. Gender identity is also important, Annette replied. No, it's really not. Okay? You can't just make up this stuff. Be like, I'm this thing. No, you're not. I'm a T-Rex. Yeah. The first discrimination charge in Norway that centered on gender identity was filed in 2018. The case centered on transgender women who complained that she was asked not to shower in the women's locker room or a sports center, according to female-led news organization Redux. Yes, I mean, if you're going to put on the trappings of a female, hope that you would be very convincing. But the reality is if you're going to pursue a lifestyle of the opposite gender, you should really present as, I shouldn't be able to go, look, I think that's a man, actually. No, I should be convinced. So nobody would know unless you dropped your towel in the locker room and you hadn't fully transitioned. Similar cases have cropped up across Europe, including Finland, where the religious freedom case saw tensions rise between free speech and LGBTQ advocates. In March, Finnish member of parliament, this lady who was accused, and Lutheran bishop, another person whose name I cannot pronounce, were acquitted of all charges in their case. The member of parliament faced 3 charges of ethnic agitation for a 2004 pamphlet for taking part in a discussion on a radio show in 2019, and most recently for tweeting a picture of the Bible. Oh my, you can't even tweet a picture of the Bible. Holy crap. Wow. Man, that is, what about the Torah? What about the Quran? Oh man, you cannot, is it just the Bible? That's what I want to know. You can't tweet a picture of a book, of a religion. You can't, that, my mind is just, how do you talk about the Bible? How do you have discussions like, should we include this book in our public libraries? Is this something that we should do? How do you have these discussions at all? How can you have any discussion around transgenderism, around hermaphrodites, around gender identity, if you cannot say things like, yeah, a man cannot be a lesbian. If you're male and your biology and you're attracted to women, that makes you straight. That's just how it is. How do you have these discussions about changing laws, about changing attitudes, about changing information for public health? I'm not saying that it should be changed. I don't know what the public health policies are in Finland or Norway. But how do you have those conversations if you can't even say things like, you got a wiener, you're not lesbian? That's how it works. It's just how it is. In 2019 tweet, a member of parliament questioned her church's sponsorship of an LGBTQ pride event and linked to an Instagram post with a picture of Romans 1:24 through 27, which calls same-sex intercourse shameful. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. That's just her pointing to a religious text and pointing out to her church, look, you're a church, you believe the XYZ. This is it. Why are you supporting this stuff? But the bishop person faced 1 count of ethnic agitation for hosting a pamphlet written by the person from parliament, on his church's website, similarly critical of gay men and women. All it says is like what the Bible says. So if it's similarly critical, so it's like, okay, well, this is what the Bible thinks about gay men and women. What's the big deal? I don't understand. Norway is considered one of the most liberal countries in Europe for LGBTQ individuals, even allowing people to legally change their gender without the need for a medical diagnosis. That's what the problem is right there. And we have comments. Maverick 2785. Isn't Norway one of those countries the far left says we should be more like? Looking at some of the news today, I'd say they're getting their wish. Yeah, I'm kidding. Marcus says hate speech is a scary, slippery slope. It only works when the party in power defines which speech is hateful. Yep. The truth is obvious. Replied to him, we, the people, need to wake up and understand the parties in power are slowly defining that all speech is hateful. I don't know about that. Chad says, I watched a video the other day where people identified as paraplegic and blind, even though they were perfectly healthy. Yeah. Viren says, since Norway always looking for people to come and call Norway home, here you go. Take all of them from all parts of the world and call it Trans Norway. There you go. Yeah, so people get it down in the comments. This is pretty crazy. I am glad that we are relatively able to hold up our freedom of speech laws in this country. Let's hope that those freedom of speech laws get better. Even, I mean, there's less push by people to destroy the freedom of speech we have in this country. How do you discuss anything if you don't have freedom of speech? That's the thing that I always wonder about. Anyway, that's all I got for this time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.